The storm broke over the savannah like a primal drum, black clouds boiling and churning until the horizon itself seemed to heave. Warm rain fell in hard, slanting sheets, turning the dusty ground into a patchwork of slick mud and sudden rivulets. Each fat drop exploded against leaves and stone with a hiss, and the air grew heavy with the smell of wet earth and crushed vegetation. In the gray distance, lightning ripped across the sky, bright enough to bleach the landscape for an instant into silver bones. Thunder followed like cannon fire. This was the kind of day when most creatures of the Indonesian islands hunkered down, waiting out the chaos. But one reptilian hunter did not hide. A Komodo dragon, 10 feet long, armored in scale plates the color of volcanic rock, was already on the move. Rainwater slicked its rough skin to a dark sheen, droplets running like quicksilver down its flanks. Its split tongue flicked in and out, tasting the storm, the air, the promise of flesh. The giant lizard moved with a confidence born of millennia of ruthless evolution. It was not built for speed like a cheetah, nor for stamina like a wolf, but every slow, deliberate step carried a patient strength. Thick legs, tipped with dagger claws, pressed into mud with the sound of wet suction. The dragon's senses worked in a world beyond human reach. Its tongue, sliding over the rain, caught scent molecules, and the Jacobson's organ on the roof of its mouth translated those molecules into a map. Somewhere ahead, through the murk of the downpour, something enormous grazed and waited. A water buffalo, heavy as a small car, unaware that the storm now carried a second danger within it. Across a low plain where rain pooled like quicksilver lakes, the buffalo shifted its weight under a tangle of dripping trees. Its dark hide was slick, steam rising faintly from its massive body as warm skin met cool rain. It raised its head only when thunder cracked overhead, then returned to grazing on the rain-darkened grass. Muscles rolled beneath its wet hide like coiled ropes. Its horns, thick and crescent-shaped, glistened. The buffalo was a fortress of meat and bone. But in this storm, even a fortress could be breached. The Komodo dragon lowered its body and advanced with a deliberate silence. Every muscle was a tuned cable of ancient instinct. Its tail, long, thick as a wrestler's thigh, dragged behind, erasing tracks under flowing rainwater. Lightning flashed again, revealing the blunt snout, the scars etched across its armored skull, the unblinking amber eyes that caught each tremor of movement. A gust of wind brought the scent of the buffalo sharp and clear, iron and musk and living blood beneath a layer of rain. The dragon's pupils narrowed to vertical slits. Hunger stirred. Then the storm itself lent its cover. A clap of thunder shook the trees, masking the faint splash of the predator's approach. The buffalo twitched an ear, but did not turn. Another step, another pause. The Komodo's heart pumped, slow and powerful, blood rich with oxygen, built for sudden violence after long patience. When the moment came, it was like the sky itself had cracked. With a burst of speed shocking for an animal of its bulk, the Komodo dragon surged forward. Mud sprayed behind its claws like shattered pottery. Its jaws, lined with serrated teeth that curved backward like fishhooks, opened wide, and it lunged at the buffalo's hind leg. The bite landed with the sound of wet leather tearing. Flesh parted, blood, dark and steaming, mingled with the rain. The buffalo bellowed, a sound of deep alarm that vibrated through the flooded plain and kicked with explosive strength. One heavy hoof struck the dragon's flank, flinging a sheet of mud and sending the lizard skidding sideways. But the hunter held on. Its teeth were built to tear and lock, and they did not release easily. The buffalo charged forward in blind panic, muscles firing like pistons. It dragged the dragon for several staggering yards before the reptile, battered but unbroken, let go, rolled, and vanished into a stand of dripping shrubs. The rain closed around it, erasing its outline as completely as if it had never been there. The buffalo slowed, limping, looking wildly from side to side, steam rising from its wound where blood met rain-chilled air. The cut was deep and ragged. More dangerous still, the dragon's saliva carried a toxic mix of bacteria and anticoagulants. Infection and blood loss were no longer possibilities. They were inevitabilities. This was the Komodo's art of war. Not a single fatal strike, but a battle of time and chemistry. The storm deepened into a gray curtain. Hours stretched. The buffalo stumbled through the flooded brush, rain washing the scent of its blood into a wide trail that no predator could miss. It drank from muddy pools but found no relief. The bite burned and throbbed. Its breathing grew rough. Beneath the skin, microscopic armies of bacteria multiplied, turning blood to poison. The Komodo dragon followed at a distance, a dark shadow slipping from tree to tree, never hurrying. The rain was its ally, keeping the air cool and the scent trail fresh. It could wait for hours, even days. Hunger was patient. As daylight thinned toward a leaden dusk, the buffalo weakened. Its massive shoulders sagged, each step a labor. Once it charged at a phantom sound, just a log rolling in floodwater, and nearly collapsed. Lightning flickered, revealing the dragon a dozen yards back, unmoving, eyes like molten amber through the sheets of rain. When the buffalo faltered again, dropping to one knee in the sucking mud, the Komodo closed in. Not rushing, never rushing, but in an unbroken, unstoppable glide, the way a tide swallows a beach. Night fell under the storm's black canopy. The only sounds were the hiss of rain and the wet, labored breaths of the dying buffalo. When the final collapse came, it was almost gentle, a slow folding of immense legs, a sigh that steamed briefly in the cold air, and stillness. The rain slackened to a mist, as if the sky itself recognized the end. That was the Komodo dragon's signal. It moved forward with a deliberate power, claws gripping the softened earth. The buffalo's eyes were half closed, life already fled. The dragon's head dipped, and those bone-saw teeth went to work. The first tear of flesh was deep and final, muscle parted like ripe fruit. The dragon's jaw muscles, among the strongest of any reptile, clamped and wrenched, swallowing huge pieces whole. Each pull of meat sent a low rumble through its throat, a sound of triumph and survival. The feast would last through the night and into the next day, attracting smaller dragons that would wait on the edges of the kill for their turn. But dominance belonged to the hunter that made the first bite. Lightning flared one last time, casting the dragon in stark silhouette, tail coiled, jaws working, rain dripping from horned scales. In the fading storm, it looked less like an animal and more like the island's living embodiment of volcanic power. By dawn, the rain eased to a silver drizzle. Clouds broke into streaks of pink and amber as the sun edged over the horizon. The plain was quiet except for the distant calls of awakening birds and the soft hiss of water draining into the earth. The carcass of the buffalo, already opened and cooling, lay partly submerged in muddy water. Steam rose faintly from the exposed ribs. The Komodo dragon lay nearby, heavy and still, its belly rounded from the kill. Its yellow eyes blinked once, slow as the turning of stone. This was the send-off nature had written. No roar of victory, no ceremony, only the quiet mastery of a predator perfectly adapted to its world. The storm had come and gone, but its legacy remained in every scent molecule the dragon tasted and every drop of rain that had hidden its approach. In this ancient dance of patience and inevitability, the hunter's slow rhythm had prevailed over the buffalo's brute strength. On a day when the sky itself seemed to rage, the Komodo dragon had used the chaos not as an obstacle, but as cover and ally. Life and death on these islands have always moved to such elemental music. Thunder for a drum, lightning for a spotlight, and a patient reptile for the silent conductor. And when the storm clouds finally drifted out to sea, The only testament left on the soaked savanna was the quiet shape of a sated dragon, keeper of an island's oldest and most unyielding laws.